I would actually consider this to be a fascinating update when it comes to Polkadot, and let me explain why, even though nothing I say is financial advice. So, earlier this month, an individual by the name of Ravi made a post, and he was talking about how over the weekend, at that time, right, kind of earlier this month, it was announced how 12 Polkadot cores were purchased. Now, why does this matter? Allegedly, each core represents dedicated block space, right? Which means that presumably something could very well be about to be built, I would like to say, or maybe, I guess, deploy something, right? It's like, for instance, let me just give the analogy here. It's like if, let's say, I bought a piece of property, right? Like just land, like that. Of course, the intent is to probably build something in the future. Now, some people do sometimes just buy it like that and try to sell it later, maybe after it depreciates or whatever, but generally speaking, I would assume that maybe they'd want to build something. That's just the way you take a look at it. So, yeah, sure, buying 12 Polkadot cores, it doesn't necessarily mean that someone will be for sure building something or deploying something very soon. I mean, again, I can't control that, but it gives like a sign to me where maybe someone does believe in Polkadot still despite it not doing the best. Because let's just imagine if, let's say, property prices in a random hypothetical town were having a pullback, but then, some individuals out there were acquiring land, maybe they're trying to build, right? And I think that right there showcases belief in that town because, or not, why would they acquire that? So when I link it back to here and just kind of, I guess, loop in the analogy, I don't think 12 Polkadot cores were purchased just for, I guess, the sake of it. I think, if anything, someone might want to build or deploy something. So I think, again, that could very well be considered a good sign for Polkadot, in which case I think people still sometimes care about it, even despite the price not doing the best. In which case, I think it showcases belief in the fundamentals and I think a belief in the project, right? Because or not, why would someone do that? However, besides that point though, people like to tell me, well, okay, again, some time has passed by ever since that post, which was kind of earlier this month. We fast forward to right now, we're near the end of March. Dot, as of right now, well below $2. People like to say this is not good whatsoever. I mean, it can be viewed as in both ways, in my opinion. Like, of course, if my intent was to exit as of right now, then yeah, of course it's not good. But if my intent is to accumulate, right, in terms of like dollar cost averaging, which I do once a month, by the way, not telling anyone to do anything though, but that's just what I do. But if it's for accumulation purposes, or should I say reasons, right? I just don't see why this would be a bad thing for me. I mean, if I take a look at DOT as of right now, it's kind of actually a little bit close to its all-time low, which may sound a little bit surprising, but back in February, we actually saw a new all-time low when it comes to DOT. Not a new all-time high, right? Literally a new all-time low, which may not sound like a good thing, but here's the thing. If I'm able to accumulate DOT basically at levels, like let's say just back in February, right? Which I've never seen DOT experience ever, because again, a new all-time low means that it's the lowest it's ever been, basically even lower than 2020 levels. At one point, we saw that back in February. Now we fast forward to right now, we're near the end of March, but here's the thing. DOT hasn't really moved too far beyond that because we're below $1.50 and the all-time low was around $1.13. So I'm assuming it's just a little bit close to the most recent floor that we saw. But if literally I'm able to dollar cost average into a project that I'm a fan of at like this price range, basically, would I complain? I don't know if I would. Like, for instance, the individuals who are holding DOT, I guess from 2020 all the way up until what we saw in 2021, like, were they complaining that they acquired DOT at below $5 back in 2020? I don't know if they would, because if I take a look at it, DOT at one point, we take a look at, for instance, its all-time high is literally like around $55. So, had anyone acquired it at like $5 even, like if they just wrote it up until that point, keep in mind, $5 is 11 times lower than 55, right? But right now, we're well below $5, actually. We're well below $2. Again, we're below $1.50. The thing is this. Sure, I mean, I could just give up. I mean, I could do that, but I don't want to because I feel like if I just take a look at things historically speaking, let's just take a look at Cardano's native token called ADA. When no one really cared about it, right? It was kind of like hovering around a couple cents. Now, of course, I'm pretty sure people did care about it, but the general consensus wasn't that positive when it comes to Cardano. But what happened in 2021? We saw Cardano's native token, which is called ADA, reach well above $2. So the thing is, usually when people start caring about a project, the journey has kind of already happened in a lot of cases. It's like a lot of people usually care when things have already happened. But for me, I don't want to do that. I want to care when things haven't really quote unquote happened yet. Now, we've seen things happen historically when it comes to DOT in 2021, but we kind of haven't seen it during this cycle. But to me, you know what? If I have to wait, I'll wait. I don't know how long it's going to be, but I'll be waiting because that's just what I set out to do anyways. Like, I don't know how long I'm going to have to exactly wait, but I don't mind waiting because I, first of all, don't see a need for me to exit. I just don't know why I would do that. And also on top of that, would I do that just for fun like that? Just because a lot of people are leaving? No, I'm not going to do it because of that. I mean, there would have to be a bigger reasoning beyond that. Like probably if let's say something bad happened to Polkadot or something like that fundamentally, then yeah. However, I haven't seen that. Like I take a look at, for instance, Polkadot 2.0 not too long ago. We do know that it was announced how DOT, which is Polkadot's native token, was capped right at 2.1 billion in terms of the supply. So we already now know that that is the ceiling. So what bad thing happened to Polkadot? Again, we take a look at an aspect of elastic scaling when it comes to Polkadot 2.0. From the developer side of things, I think that could mean, good things moving forward because, who doesn't like elastic scaling, an aspect of that when it comes to Polkadot 2.0, especially when it comes to a developer. Maybe I wouldn't really notice it that much, but for a developer, they really care about that type of stuff. So at the end of the day, I mean, I just don't see what bad thing happened to Polkadot. So if Polkadot is cheaper, basically, its native token called DOT, and I feel like it became better, am I going to complain? I mean, no, right? For accumulation, or should I say dollar cost averaging reasons, yeah, I see no reason to complain, and I just see no reason to exit like that for fun. I mean, for what? Why would I do that? But besides that point, though, especially like right now, I mean, with DOT being this low, exiting right now, like that's just realizing everything, in the downwards direction, which, yeah, I just don't know why I do that personally, but I'm not telling anyone to do anything, but I feel like it's unrealized right now anyways, so I am still holding, I'm still dollar cost averaging once a month and just trying to bring that average down. But again, this is just what I am doing. I don't have to do this. This is purely voluntary, but I just like Polkadot's, vibe overall. It's focused on interoperability. It's focused on connecting blockchains together. I don't see why it's so bad of a project. And DOT still has over 1 million holders. So what I'm experiencing right now, when it comes to DOT more specifically, is alongside literally over 1 million other individuals out there. Over 1 million. Like, okay, if I'm experiencing it maybe with like around 10 people, then yeah, okay. I get how it might feel a bit intense, that feeling, right? But like what I'm feeling right now when it comes to DOT is literally alongside over 1 million other people. Allegedly. Yeah, I'm just gonna wait, but I'm not telling anyone to do anything. But the recent update that I saw when it comes to Polkadot, I thought it was pretty awesome. So of course, I wanted to make a video on it and just kind of give my thoughts on Polkadot as of right now. But I'll be sure to make more updates moving forward, so hopefully y'all stay tuned for that. I just want to say thank you for watching. I greatly appreciate it. And again, hopefully I'll see you on the next one. It's Billy the Captain. I'm out. Peace. Bye.